10 West Moto. Let's go have some fun. That's right, I'm back on another KTM. This is a 2017 300 XCW to be exact, and this thing is a monster. Now I'm not going to bore you guys with all the details because really it's a fairly stock bike. It has a PDS suspension that was rebuilt by WER, which is Works Enduro Rider. Call those guys, they do great work. Ask for Drew, he's an awesome guy. They did an A upgrade kit for a 205-pound rider for a B-class hair scramble, which fit me perfect even though I'm 160 pounds and I'm a C-class rider. It felt amazing. There's a bib moose in the front and rear with the rear drilled, kind of like Graham Jarvis does. The airbox was a little modified. Given that the carburetor was a little iffy for this year, the owner of it decided to throw in a JD Jet kit, 13-tooth front sprocket with a 525 cheater rear tire and an M59 front tire. 30mm bar risers, Enduro Engineering rad guards. There was an FMF gnarly pipe on this bike, but it was taken off because apparently it was just completely terrible with this motor. So put the stock pipe back on it, stock clutch, stock reeds, stock carb, stock muffler, peg. There's literally 130 hours on the grips to this bike, and it still felt amazing. Now, one of the main reasons why I was really excited to hop on this bike is because the owner has tried so many different scenarios, so many different things for his bike, just like many of us do, that he found what works and what does not work for it. Like the tubeless setup, for example. He had tubeless on this bike. It was great. He said it was amazing for grip and feel, but it wasn't what he was looking for. So he decided to go with the moose setup, drill it out a little bit, and see how that worked. And apparently, it is amazing. Now, just like the KTM 350 review that I did, I'm only comparing this bike to every other bike out there in the entire world. This is the one you want. If you ever go and buy a dirt bike, you better buy this one. You better do all these upgrades because it's awesome. It's perfect. As soon as I hopped on it and took off in first gear, like you guys saw in the very beginning of this video, I felt nothing but comfortable. I felt way more confident. I didn't feel any vibration in my teeth like I do on my YZ. And this bike has literally made me a very firm believer that KTM makes an awesome dirt bike. Now, before I continue inflating all the KTM owners' heads with my review video on this bike, I want to give a huge thank you to the owner of the bike, Randall. The bike's number 75J. He races in the VCHSS with all of us. If you see him, make sure you say hi to him. He's done a ton of work to this thing to get it the way that it is. And luckily, I'm fortunate enough to be able to hop on it and take her out for a spin.
Hey man, it's like night and day. I like the way this Beaver Pen suspension is real nice. Yeah, it's soft, man. It's nice. That thing beats the hell out of you.
Yes, it does have a JD Jet kit on it for the carburetor, but that 97 YZ has electron carburetor on it. And honestly, it felt better than that YZ that I had put an electron carburetor on. So given everything that the owner of this bike has done to it, I'm sure if you bought it straight off the showcase floor or wherever you get it, or you got it off Craigslist or something, it's gonna need some modifications. But there are ways that you can do those modifications and make it an amazing bike, like Randall has done to his bike. This thing is phenomenal, and I can't help but hope that he sells it one day because he's gonna sell it to me. And if that happens, I'm sure I'll modify it a little bit here and there to make it fit me a little better, but overall, this has been one of the most comfortable bikes I have ever been on. I noticed I was faster, I was more confident, I wasn't watching out for things that I'd watch out for on my YZ that I own now, and previous YZs beforehand, and even CRs that I've owned. It's like a night and day difference. And I mentioned that in the video when I first pulled back up to Randall when he's sitting on my bike. It's a night and day difference. I know you guys were hoping for, but this is YouTube, so we can't show everything that's going on. What had happened, my rear facing camera got taken off by a tree limb. Apparently I need a better mount or better mounting spot on the back of my helmet for it. Randall was nice enough to see it and stop and pick it up, and luckily I have it back now. I got some footage of it. It's kind of terrible footage because I still have the angles wrong, but I'll work with it, I'll play with it a little more, and we'll see what we can come out with. I'd already gone through some trails. I was kind of getting a little tired. We had all stopped by the trucks and kind of talked a little bit. And then Randall was nice enough to tell me that if I wanted to, I could take his KTM back out. So I did not hesitate. I jumped back on this awesome bike. And of course, I'm going to go back out for another ride. Mainly because I felt so comfortable on it. I went on a different part of Slade's Park here. Went up to the same areas that I usually go up with my YZ just so I can compare and see how either stable or unstable it would be, and see how I would react different compared to how I would react on my YZ. And once again, like I'm repeating myself over and over, it's like a night and day difference. Now I'm not here to sell anybody a KTM or a YZ or a CRF or Kawasaki or any of those bikes. I'm here basically to tell you guys my experience and the difference of the bikes that I've ridden. And I gotta tell you, if I had to pick one, as unfortunate as it is to my Yamaha buddies, I would definitely pick this KTM 300 XCW. Hands down, this is the bike that I would hopefully, possibly, maybe, we just might end up getting our hands on one and racing. Maybe next year, a year after that, a year after that, depending on what all we have going on. You might see Ten West Moto on a KTM 300. You never know. Now, as you all can see, it's raining. I really don't want to stop riding this thing, honestly. But we do have Knockdown Hare Scramble, which is happening this weekend, as you all know, my videos come out every week. They're a week behind the previous week of that ride or that race. Everybody's going to be at the race. It's going to be awesome. It's not supposed to rain. It's supposed to be decent weather. I've never raced the Knockdown Hare Scramble. It's only the second time the VCHSS has been invited to race the Knockdown Hare Scramble. It's the second year these guys have been awesome enough to let us race on their property. You definitely don't want to miss it. I'm excited to learn some new terrain, to race against this bike. As unfortunate as that sounds, I'll be racing against this bike and everybody else that's out there to see it. And until next time, I'm Tin West Moto, and I'll see you on the starting line.